Hey, Shalom. Let me see. Yep, it's Shalom. I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKodash. Want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone. Want to say Shalom to all the brothers. Of course, the few sisters pursuing this truth in sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your house. Today, we're going to talk about the difference between racism and being prejudiced. Okay, and how that applies to, you know, our situation, the dynamic, so to speak, between Jacob and Esau. All right, so we're going to look up that word, racism. Okay. Let it pull up here. All right, you look it up. It says the belief that different races possess distinct characteristics, abilities, or qualities, especially so as to distinguish them as inferior or superior. And the Lord is racist. When you go to Deuteronomy, let me go get this really quick. 7 and 6, I believe. He says he chose a nation of people to be above the other. All right, for thou art an holy people, right? And I'm pretty sure you look up that word holy there, it's going to be Kodash, which means to be separate, set apart. Unto the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people. Okay? Unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. And there's nothing wrong with being for your own people. Okay? But when we start to talk about prejudice, that's the ability to legislate your bias. Okay? To weave in your bias within the fabric of society, thus controlling the reality that races experience. Okay? And in this kingdom, the so-called Black, Latino, and Native American people and the scattered Israelites have never been in a position to forward prejudice in the earth. So let's go get that word prejudice, and then we got a precept for it. So we're going to look prejudice up in the Edom Online. All right. You know, hopefully you guys can hear me. I got this mic plugged up. Hopefully it's working. So you look up that word prejudice here. It says, despite, contempt. Let me see here, going down. Let's get to the nitty gritty of it. Preconceived opinion. A decision formed without due examination, without proper, due process, as they say in this land, of the facts or arguments necessary to just and impartial decision. All right, to terminate with extreme prejudice, kill. Okay, and we haven't been in a position to kill. All right, sentence somebody to time. We haven't been in a position to legislate bias, because we know who the wicked are. We know the people that wherever they go, the conditions of hell follow them, as stated in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Okay, but we're not able to act on it and legislate so they can't, be the damn demons that they are. Now you get into the verb definition for prejudice in the Edom Online. It says to injure or be detrimental to. We haven't been in a position to injure or be detrimental to another nation except ourselves. Okay, so it goes in to say the meaning to affect or fill with prejudice, create prejudice against. All right, you see, it says detriment or damage caused by the violation of a legal right. That's what we're looking for. So you talk about being prejudiced. Again, it goes into being able to make it a law. Make your biases a law. Now, let's go to Proverbs. And it's going to talk about this devil forwarding his prejudice. No, it's actually in Psalms. Psalms, the 94th chapter, in verse 20. But I want to start at verse 16. All right, it reads, who will rise up for me against the evildoers. There's a people that when you talk about evil, when you talk about wickedness, they're attached to it. Okay, and that's the Edomites. Going on to read, it says, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity, which is sin upon sin. When you go to 2 Thessalonians 2, all right, you all know where I'm going. When you go to 2 Thessalonians 2, it attaches a nation of people to iniquity. Okay, 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 7, we'll just start there. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. When Paul wrote this letter, the Romans were ruling. So right here he's saying the mystery of iniquity doth already work, because he was talking about the man of sin that was going to be revealed, and they were already ruling at the time. But he's saying it in this way because if this was, later was a letter was seized, this could be a treasonous letter. Could have got people in trouble. Okay, so a lot of the letters from Paul and stuff, they're going to be nuances to it that you got to catch. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth by way of his prophets. And when he comes back, he's literally going to consume these people by way of the chariots. Okay. Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. So now we go back to Psalms 94. Okay. Get that for y'all real quick. Go back. Now we back in Psalms 94. It says, I'm going to get straight to it in verse 20. It says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? They're able to frame their sinful ways, their agenda. They're able to legalize it. From how they, the agricultural laws here, to the laws on how marriage, is established here. Okay. To the laws on things you could even speak. They got a bunch of codes on how you deal with the children, on education. Everything is framed in a way that's counterintuitive to righteousness. And they're able to legislate their biases. Even when so-called America, which is really just a corporation used by the elites, when it was formed, an Israelite man wasn't even considered a man. He was 3/5 of a man. And they called us 3/5 of a man so they could justify killing us. So, if any nation was to bring them up on a war crime or charges, they could say, these people are 3/5 of a man. They're not really people. It's like killing livestock. You can't, you can't penalize me or bring me to trial for killing livestock. So they framed that mischief by law. The Israelite people have not within this kingdom ever been in a situation or a position to legislate our biases. It's okay to be racist. It's okay to be for your people. Everybody should be an advocate for their own people. You should want to see your people in the right state of mind. You should want to see flourishing families. You should want to see the man and the woman and the children all being on one accord with each other. You should want to see order amongst your people. You should have a standard of excellence amongst your people. All right. It's not about you disliking other people. It's about you being for your people. That's your main priority. You're about your family first. Everybody should be. But when you talk about prejudice, the Israelite family has not been in a position to legislate their biases so that it's beneficial to their family. And for the so-called white man to be sitting up in this society acting like it wasn't established so that he could benefit, so that he could be ahead. Cry me a fucking river. All these Edomites, they're in this spirit now as though they're the victim. And no, the small hats aren't cutting the rest of the Edomites in. But this place was established so that you could benefit. But now you got Edomites in the same position as a nigga. And you got guys like, what's his name? Forget the guy's name. I just did a lesson on. You got these various Edomites popping up saying, oh, the white man and the black guy, we got to come together against the small hats. Hell no. They cut y'all out of the deal. So y'all going to be two-time losers. And the Lord's going to take them off of the throne. That's just the recompense. That's what's going to go down. Okay? There's a lot of Edomites who feel like they've been left out high and dry. And you have. Scriptures talk about he that is evil to himself, to whom shall he do good? So, I just wanted to go between the difference. So just to rehash, racism is being for your people, which you should do. You should have a standard amongst your own people. You should want to see flourishing families. You should want to have a particular mindset to where you guys it's productive to life. But prejudice is being in a position to legislate those biases that you have for your family, and we have not been in that position. So yeah, there's a lot of people have black fatigue, but the Edomite can't play victim. They have no room to be, saying that they haven't been given a fair shake. That's bullshit. All right. So I brought this out of Lessons Edifying, just something quick. I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Baruch HaKodash. Want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the brothers, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right. May the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.